make it easier and easier with every video. One of the reasons I'm doing this is sometimes thoughts come to me, things come to me, and it would be good to share them. Insights into things about energy, symbols, um, all sorts of things. And this this is my living room. There's no scholars round my table. There's no high level philosophical discussions. There's just me, usually, and it's really hard. It's really hard trying to speak and look at my face because usually I just look outwards, and this is weird because it's like talking out and looking in at the same time. Right, I better stop before I even. Oh, right. Anyway, why did I start this fucking conversation? What I was trying to say is that sometimes when there's, it's easier when you write all this, and this is the first time I've tried to do this video wags, so I can kind of YouTube it. I might have to go back to writing because this is hard. Um, because I'm having to deal with something, two things. Like, I'm not from a technology age. When I left school, the week I left school, the first ever computer came to our school, one, and it was under the charge of the male maths teacher because he was the only one who knew how to work it, and there was only one in the whole school, and we had calculators, and we got all excited because wow, you could put in 43110, 4.3110 and turn it upside down and it said hello. And we added things up in our heads. We used paper to do difficult, complicated. But we added things up in our heads. And the cartoons that we watched, oh my goodness. This is why we got the imaginations, because when children get things nowadays and they're not given the opportunity to play half the time. The play's been done by the adult. The adult who's designed the thing they're playing with. And they've had fun doing that. The kids got everything done for them. It's all been made. Where does their imagination go? And they're like fed all these visual informations that's already done for them. The joy we had when we had an empty box that was bigger than us. They'll never know what that feels like. I mean, they can, but it's a dying skill. Imagination. This isn't what I was trying to say. What I started out to say, I can't even remember. Right, this might be the best way to do this then. What I came back on for was I wanted to say that this is like when you go to a disco, right? It's not going to be a disco, but when you go to anything and there's a dance floor and there's music playing and everybody's sitting and nobody wants to be the first one up to dance. It's going to be a great night. The floor's going to be hooching. You're going to get elbows in your face and your butt and everything. And it's going to be so much fun. But it's not going to start until people get on the floor and start to dance. And I guess everywhere I go, I relish that point of the night. It can be a little bit scary and a little bit like, who does she think she is? But that's just negativity in your head. And really, it's just a big empty dance floor, and there's plenty of space to dance, and you can dance like how you want and not care. Plenty of room. And that's what I like to do, because I don't hesitate. I get up and dance because I know that the longer it takes people to get on that dance floor, the shorter the night's going to be, the shorter the fun's going to be, the less fun there's going to be, because everybody's sitting not wanting to be the first. So I guess that's what I do. I go, dance, start dancing now. As soon as you dance, somebody else will dance. And that's it. The night started right there. No waiting 2 hours for the dance floor to warm up. Just get on and dance. And that's kind of what this is. And also what I started saying in the first one was there's a gap. There's a gap between the people evolving, and I think there's a gap that we're going to need to be like ants. And our energy is going to help map the energy to the other side of that gap. And then it maybe all starts all round again in a big cycle. I don't know. But we might have to do like the ants do. Ants cross things because they just link together. And I guess I'm an ant that just likes to go over the edge and be first on the dance floor. Because it's not about me and what I'm doing. It's about how it can help other people. It's a kind of courage. It's a kind of bravery to it's easy to talk about being changing and consciousness and all this, and it's just that kind of stuff and discussion seem to take place somewhere outside of our everyday lives, outside spirituality at the dishes. Gosh. Yeah. It's easier when I write stuff. It comes out easier. When I talk to other people, it comes out easier. This, looking at myself as I do it, that's real. That's different. That's not a discussion on concussion. mm, that's not a discussion about consciousness. That's consciousness how I understand it, the same we all understand it, the only way we can, from the inside. There's yeah, okay. Might take 3 today before I get to where I'm going. A lot of editing. Here's 3 seconds, it might make it. Rocking the Mona Lisa with glasses look today. That's not what I meant. Right. God, maybe I should just go back to Facebook. It's about getting out of our comfort zones. It's about pushing ourselves, but it's about listening to how we're being guided. It's listening to our intuition. It's listening to how the universe speaks to you. For a while, that was things like angel numbers, tarot readings, I Ching, meditation. How we individually respond to all these things. And some people come from a place of worship and God and religion, and I tend to say I'm spiritual, not religious. It doesn't mean that I don't agree with these religions or their teachings or their teachers, but it's always been for me about trying to take the essence, the unity from these teachings, what they share. And the Beatles, pff, the Beatles, all you need is love. Yoko and John's loving, sleeping. I am the walrus, cuckoo cuckoo. Alice in Wonderland. I know that's not Beatles, that's Lewis Carroll, but Alice in Wonderland. Anything, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. It's they've all the they call the great scientists. There's something driving. There's moving people on, driving them on, and in our and all the hidden teachings of all the different religions, and it's rich. And it's nourishment. But wouldn't it be nice that there was one pamphlet you were given, I don't know, front page of your baby book, that had maybe essential information on it. What you need to know, the big stuff. But that's what religions are. The religions are all of these things trying to distill into the Buddha and Dharma and the wheel and the Lotus Sutra and the four and the eight and the Ten Commandments and all of these things. We have to decide together what the important things are. And we've lost our way a little. We've allowed we've allowed the messages to be tainted with people's idea of where they want people to go, what they want people to do, and then said, here's the pamphlet, here's what you do. But we didn't get to make the pamphlet. We didn't get to make the rules. Somebody else wrote the rules for us and said, hey, God give me this. And it says, this is what you have to do. And it's one thing saying, oh, there was this time when Buddha did this and it was cool because he said to this man about this coal in his hand and how it only burnt his hand, and that if he was to throw it at somebody else in revenge, it would just hurt his own hand and stuff like that. That's telling a story about somebody who was going around and telling people stuff. Ten Commandments, that's about property. That's from a male perspective for a start, and you can just tell that reading it as a woman. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife. Well, that right off assumes you're a man. They're speaking to a man. They're not speaking to a woman. They're not saying these are for women. This is about women. Women's part of the woman gets lumped in with the ass and the neighbour. They don't get to read the commandments. Right. Okay. So we need to write our own pamphlet. We need to say what's important to us. And actually, there was a lot of work done in the 60s. There was a lot of songs. And there was a lot of it was just about holding just somebody's hand and simple, and boy meets girl, girl meets boy. But there was a lot of profound stuff too. There was a lot of really trippy, but the messages were, geez, what were the messages? No, that's why the Beatles wins. All you need is love. That's it. All you need is love. And a big case to carry all your baggage. But love, that's all you need. Really. And Where am I? My journey right now, I'm trying to love myself. I'm trying to, what would the word be? Divine union. Your feminine, your divine feminine energy, your divine masculine energy, and how that splits into two. Right, I'm just going to talk rubbish now. I'm going to leave it there because just no, that's a different discussion. And do you know what? Gosh, this is going to be hard. I can do this. I might need to write a framework before I start talking. I can do this. Yeah, it could be about all sorts today. Yeah, it's not, have you washed your ball? It's going to be, have you dried your hair? Okay, bye.